looking for a way to get to you.
G'day guys, Tools20 here and welcome back to City Skylines Industries. This is going to be the last tutorial from me and I'm going to spend it looking at the new content that comes with the free update. I'm going to start by checking out the new toll booths, which will raise extra revenue for the city, however will also create extra congestion on the roads. So to avoid this, I'm going to be placing them around the outskirts of the city. You can find the toll booths in the road section under the very own tab, and there's 4 to choose from. I'm placing mine on a 3-lane highway, so I'm going to choose the 4-lane toll booth and place 2 going in either direction. Once I've done that, I'm going to waste my money placing down some trees, and then I can actually change the price of the tickets when I click on the building and use the slider to decrease or increase the ticket price. Another cool feature with the free update is the ability to make buildings historical. You can make a building historical by clicking on it and then clicking the historical building button. And this will mean the building will continue to level up, but won't actually change its appearance. I'm going to do this around my downtown to keep the skyline looking quite prominent and the rest of the buildings much lower down. And I'm also going to do this for buildings that I just like the look of and want to keep that look in the city. The last feature I want to talk about is something that is quite interesting and it lies within the map theme editor. And this feature allows you to create custom name lists for your map theme. The really cool thing about this is you can really customize the names of pretty much anything that spawns in your city, ranging from industrial buildings to commercial buildings to people to districts. You really have a lot of freedom making these names, and I think it's going to make for some really interesting and unique map themes down the track. But guys, that is it for these tutorials. I really had a lot of fun exploring the new Industries DLC, and I just want to say big thanks to Paradox Interactive for asking me to collaborate with them. I hope these tutorials have been useful, and I look forward to seeing your creations in the near future. I'll see you later. I'm talking about warehouses. So I've been using warehouses to transform parts of the city into cargo hubs, where raw resources are being imported and exported in and out of the city and to any factories in the area. By default, the warehouse will try to keep a buffer of around half capacity so that there will always be enough resources to deliver and enough space to receive more stuff. You can also change this mode to fill or empty. So for example, this area needs more paper for the unique factories. So I'm going to change the mode to fill. And now the warehouse will aggressively import from outside connections and other warehouses to keep the storage full. However, in this area, the warehouses are always full, so I'm going to change the mode to empty so that the warehouse aggressively exports to other warehouses and outside connections. And of course, with all the added industry, my roads are starting to really fail, so luckily there's a couple of new ways you can transfer goods out of your city. So there's 2 new airports with a new DLC, a cargo airport and a cargo airport hub, and you can find them in the transport section. I'm going to go with a cargo airport hub because comes with an inbuilt train station, and I think rail will probably be the best way to connect the industry on either end of the city. And now that I've cleared a bit of traffic with the airport hub, I think I might clog the streets back up again with the postal service. Think about the postal service as something your city needs, like road maintenance or parks. A good postal service will actually improve civilian well-being, so it's important to make sure that the vans can actually reach each building before getting filled up. And once they do get filled, they'll return back to the post office where that mail will be picked up by a post truck and delivered to an outside connection. Though those post trucks only come once a month and the post office can get full. So if you're collecting a lot of mail, it might be a good idea to put down a post sorting facility. And that way you can keep a nice flow of mail and avoid any build up. But that's it for today's tutorial. I hope it's been useful. I'll see you in the next one. See you later. There's 3 new industrial policies. You can find them by clicking on the industrial area and then clicking on the policies tab. Each policy is designed to improve your industry in some way. One increases the storage and capacity of the buildings, one improves the health of workers, and the other one improves the production output. All of these policies have a cost, so you do have to figure out whether the effect is going to be worth the expense. I'm going to add a mixture to each one of my industries. First up, I'm going to start with Rosewood Farmland and try and improve the storage of the buildings because we're producing quite a lot around here. Crestwoods is producing paper very slowly and at a bit of an expense, so I'm going to try increasing the production rate and then also removing an expensive paper factory, and hopefully that'll improve things. And then lastly, for my big polluting industrial companies, I'm going to improve work safety supervision to hopefully improve the health that's down here. Leaving Dollartown now, and we're going to take a look at the new maps available with the DLC. There are 5 new maps that you can choose from, all ranging in different themes, and all have their own unique challenges and rewards. Some are rich with oil, some are rich with forest, some have very low fertile land, and some have a mixture. The terrain on each map is quite different. Some are just vast plains and some are quite mountainous, but each map is very unique and always has some sort of unique element to it, which I'll let you discover them for yourselves. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one. See you later. You place down in an industrial area that then turn those areas into the specialist industry. And those main buildings are all unique, and they actually level up and change as the industrial area improves and grows. When I first plopped down Rosewood Farmland, it was only at a level 1. But as the city has been expanding and as I've been adding to this farm, the farm has leveled up and now it's at a maximum of level 5. To find out more information about this, you can click on the industrial area, which opens up a window that shows you all the stats. Up top, and I can see that nothing's imported, everything's homegrown. I can see where crops are going and how much money is made from animal products and flowers, and down below gives you a pretty good idea how much profit you're making and how many people are on site. However, Rosewood Farmland is at a level 5 because it's actually a pretty good industrial area. It's in a great location, there's plenty of workers around, and the production is keeping up with the demand. Unfortunately, I can't see the same for Walnut Pit. It's been stuck at a level 3 for ages, and we've produced enough resources, but the worker count is still under 500, which means I'll probably have to zone some residential around this area. Now, any logical player would do that. However, I'm the sort of player that values the aesthetics of his city rather than the functionality of it. So I'm going to waste all my money building ore industry somewhere else. When I place down a new main building, I always make sure it's on a main road so that service vehicles can access it pretty easily. And voila, a new industrial area has been built. And you can actually see the difference between the level 1 main building and the level 3 building, which is pretty cool. And who knows, maybe the next time you watch this, it'll be a level 5 main building. But I guess we'll have to see what happens. I'll see you then. For the last tutorial, I've been expanding the industrial areas of Dollartown, and we now have a variety of different products being produced in the city. But I think it's about time I take it up a notch and start plopping down some unique factories. So the unique factories require multiple resources to produce unique goods. Basically, the further up you go, the more resources needed to produce those goods. I think I'm going to start with a furniture factory. It only requires planed timber and paper, which I know I'm producing quite a lot of in this area. I think I'm going to put it down halfway between the forestry industry and the city, because ultimately you want those products to be on the shelves as quick as possible. When I click on the factory, I can see I need plain timber and paper in order to make the furniture. I need both those items in the factory at the same time in order to start producing anything. And at the moment, I have neither, so I'm just waiting for a truck to make its first delivery. Alright, so now we're actually starting to make some furniture and some money. I might actually start increasing the production rate so that we can start getting it out a little bit faster. Though I'm just going to be careful of the upkeep per week, and also if I can keep up with the demand of timber and paper. To keep up with that demand, I'm going to put down a couple of warehouses that will store just plain timber and paper, so that there's always resources close to the factory. And while we're at it, let's add another unique factory to the area. This time I'm going to go with a toy shop, as it uses pretty similar resources, though it does need plastics, which is being produced all the way down the other side of the map, so I do need to also put down a warehouse that specializes in plastics. And in a nutshell, that's how you get your unique factories running in your city. Though these are the most basic and easy ones to use, they get a lot more complicated and tricky to manage down the track. You'll see me fail at those ones. I'll see you then. Flows into city, from harvesting raw resources all the way up to the production of luxury and special goods. I'm going to start with my forestry industry. I'm harvesting raw forest products and I'm storing it within this little storage unit. Though I can see it's getting pretty full, so I'm going to expand it by adding a couple more storage areas. And you can actually see the raw forest products being transported to the storage units. But at this stage, we're only exporting that raw product. We're not actually exporting anything extra. So I'm going to add a sawmill which takes the raw resources and turns it into plain timber. And now my city is producing raw forest products and plain timber. To make sure that there's always enough resources on hand and that we're not overstocking, I'm going to place down some more storage. And of course, if you're anything like me, don't forget to waste all your money placing down some trees. The cool thing about the production chain is that it doesn't actually have to be within the industrial area to function. I'm going to make another industrial area closer to the city, and this one's going to focus on producing paper. And to make sure there's a nice flow from the production of the paper to it sitting on the shelves of the shops, I'm going to place a warehouse down the road in the heart of the city that's going to focus on the storage of paper. And that way, trucks don't have to go all the way into the forest to find the paper, they can actually just go to a warehouse that sits already in the city. And I'm going to do the same for my oil industry by painting down an industrial area where oil is needed the most in the city. And I'm going to place down another warehouse. This time, it's going to focus on storing plastics as part of the oil production chain. And honestly, that is me scratching the surface of the production chain in the new DLC. I'll get into more of it in the next episode. See ya. Now, before I get started, let me introduce you to my city that I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. This is Dollartown, pretty happy with it, but I think it's about time I started expanding out the industrial areas. With the Industries Expansion Pack, you have access to 4 industrial areas: forest, farming, ore, and oil industry. For your industrial area to function correctly, you first need to find the natural resource that matches your industry. In this case, I'm building a farm, so I need to find some fertile land somewhere on my map. Once I've found the best place, I can then paint down the industrial area just like I would a regular district or a park area. To turn your industrial area into the correct industry specialist, you then need to go to the garbage and industry icon, find the correct industry, so I'm going to farming, and then you need to place down a main building. And what that does, it turns that area into the correct industry area. And now that I've done that, I've got access to all the other farming buildings that I can start placing down. You might actually notice that none of these are zonable. All these buildings are ploppable and they all are intertwined and work together within the production chain, which I'm going to get into in the next episode. But basically all these sort of work together and they're really important as part of the industry. And I'm going to do the same process for the other industrial areas wherever I can find any natural resources on this map. I'm going to be placing down the industrial area district and watching that industry grow. But that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later.